Emotional resilience is the ability to adapt, recover, and remain psychologically flexible in the face of stress, adversity, change, and uncertainty. It is not an innate trait reserved for a few people, but a skill shaped and strengthened through consistent daily habits that influence how the nervous system, brain, and emotions respond to life's challenges. One of the most foundational habits for building emotional resilience is developing emotional awareness. This involves regularly noticing what you feel without immediately reacting, suppressing, or judging those emotions. When emotions are acknowledged rather than ignored, the brain's threat response softens, allowing for clearer thinking and better regulation. Emotional awareness trains the mind to observe experiences rather than become overwhelmed by them, which is a critical component of resilience. Daily emotional check-ins help create this awareness. Taking a few moments to mentally label emotions such as frustration, sadness, anxiety, or contentment activates areas of the brain responsible for emotional regulation. This simple practice reduces emotional intensity and prevents buildup that can lead to emotional overwhelm. Over time, this habit builds trust in your ability to handle emotions rather than fear them. Consistent routines provide emotional stability by creating predictability in an unpredictable world. Morning and evening routines act as anchors for the nervous system, signaling safety and structure. When the brain knows what to expect, it conserves energy and reduces stress reactivity. Simple routines such as waking up at the same time, eating regular meals, or having a calming wind-down ritual can significantly improve emotional resilience by lowering baseline stress levels. Sleep is one of the most powerful yet overlooked factors in emotional resilience. Quality sleep allows the brain to process emotional experiences, regulate stress hormones, and restore cognitive function. Poor sleep weakens emotional control, making reactions more intense and impulsive. Daily habits that support sleep, such as limiting caffeine later in the day, reducing screen exposure before bed, and maintaining consistent sleep schedules, directly enhance emotional stability and resilience. Movement plays a critical role in emotional regulation. Physical activity helps release stored stress, reduces cortisol levels, and increases the production of mood-regulating neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine. Regular movement does not require intense workouts. Gentle daily activities like walking, stretching, or yoga are enough to support emotional resilience. Movement helps the body complete stress cycles, preventing emotional tension from becoming chronic. Breathing habits strongly influence emotional resilience because breathing directly communicates with the nervous system. Slow, controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes calm and recovery. Incorporating conscious breathing into daily life, even for a few minutes, trains the body to return to balance more quickly after stress. Over time, this habit reduces emotional reactivity and builds a sense of internal safety. Emotional resilience is strengthened by the ability to set boundaries. Daily habits that involve respecting personal limits prevent emotional depletion. This includes saying no when necessary, limiting exposure to draining situations, and recognizing when rest is needed. Boundaries protect emotional energy and reduce resentment, which is often a sign of chronic boundary violation. Practicing boundaries consistently reinforces self-respect and emotional security. Self-talk patterns shape emotional resilience more than external circumstances. Daily habits of noticing and reframing negative self-talk help reduce emotional suffering. When internal dialogue is harsh or catastrophic, emotional stress intensifies. Replacing self-criticism with neutral or compassionate language creates emotional flexibility. This does not mean ignoring problems, but approaching them with curiosity rather than self-blame. Gratitude practices build emotional resilience by shifting attention away from constant threat scanning. The brain naturally prioritizes negative information, which can lead to chronic stress. Daily gratitude habits, such as reflecting on small positive moments, retrain attention and balance emotional perception. Over time, this practice strengthens optimism and psychological endurance without denying difficulties. Emotional resilience also depends on how emotions are expressed. Suppressing emotions may seem functional in the short term, but it increases internal stress over time. Healthy expression through journaling, conversation, creative outlets, or movement allows emotions to be processed rather than stored. Daily expressive habits prevent emotional overload and improve emotional clarity. Social connection is a powerful resilience builder when approached intentionally. Daily habits of meaningful connection, even brief ones, support emotional health by reinforcing a sense of belonging and safety. This may include checking in with a trusted person, sharing honestly, or simply being present with others. Quality matters more than quantity. Emotionally safe connections strengthen resilience by reducing isolation. Digital boundaries are increasingly important for emotional resilience. Constant exposure to negative news, social comparison, and online conflict can overwhelm emotional capacity. Daily habits that limit screen time, curate content, and create technology-free moments protect mental and emotional space. Reducing digital overstimulation allows the nervous system to recover and improves emotional regulation. Mindfulness practices enhance emotional resilience by training attention to remain in the present moment. When the mind is constantly projecting into the future or replaying the past, emotional stress intensifies. Daily mindfulness habits, such as observing sensations, thoughts, or breath, reduce emotional reactivity and increase tolerance for discomfort. This skill allows individuals to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Nutrition also influences emotional resilience through its effects on brain chemistry and energy regulation. Daily habits of balanced meals, stable blood sugar, and adequate hydration support emotional stability. Fluctuations in blood sugar can mimic anxiety and irritability, making emotional regulation more difficult. Consistent nourishment provides the physiological foundation for resilience. Emotional resilience is reinforced by aligning daily actions with personal values. When behavior consistently contradicts values, internal stress increases. Daily habits that reflect values such as honesty, kindness, or growth create emotional coherence and self-trust. This alignment reduces internal conflict and strengthens emotional grounding during challenges. Acceptance is a core resilience skill cultivated through daily habits of allowing reality as it is rather than constantly resisting it. Resistance to unpleasant emotions or circumstances amplifies suffering. Acceptance does not mean approval, but acknowledging what is present without excessive struggle. Practicing acceptance daily reduces emotional exhaustion and increases adaptability. Developing emotional resilience also involves learning to tolerate discomfort. Avoiding discomfort reinforces fear and fragility. Daily habits that gently expose individuals to manageable challenges build emotional strength. This may include having difficult conversations, trying new activities, or sitting with uncomfortable emotions without distraction. Over time, tolerance increases and emotional confidence grows. Reflection is an important daily habit for emotional growth. Taking time to reflect on emotional experiences helps identify patterns, triggers, and coping strategies. Reflection transforms experiences into learning opportunities, strengthening resilience through insight rather than repetition. This habit supports emotional intelligence and long-term growth. Compassion toward oneself during difficult moments is essential for resilience. The daily habits of self-compassion reduce shame and self-judgment, which are major barriers to emotional recovery. Treating oneself with the same kindness offered to others improves emotional safety and encourages healthy coping. Emotional resilience is reinforced through realistic expectations. Daily habits that involve adjusting expectations to match energy, capacity, and circumstances prevent chronic disappointment. Unrealistic standards create constant emotional pressure, while flexible expectations allow for adaptation and recovery. Rest is a resilience skill, not a reward. Daily habits that prioritize rest before exhaustion develops protect emotional health. This includes micro-rests throughout the day, mental breaks, and permission to pause. Rest allows emotional processing and prevents burnout. Over time, these daily habits rewire emotional responses by strengthening neural pathways associated with regulation, adaptability, and self-awareness. Emotional resilience becomes less about enduring stress and more about navigating life with flexibility, clarity, and inner stability. Consistent small habits shape emotional strength far more effectively than occasional intense efforts, creating a sustainable foundation for long-term emotional well-being.